It's well known that outrageous expressions like Bayazid's "Glory be to me, Subhani," or Hallaj's even more startling phrase, "I am the truth, Ana al-Haq," have often been classified as shathiyat or ecstatic sayings. It's important to point out that these sayings are not necessarily to be dismissed as the ravings of lunatics, though there are undoubtedly some who hold that opinion. But to the contrary, there is abundant evidence to indicate that these ecstatic sayings have often been considered to be deep and profound mystical insights, or the results of such insights, which unfortunately cannot be understood by the ordinary person. It's noteworthy that an authority of the stature of Junayd composed a commentary on the ecstatic expressions of Bayazid, which has fortunately been preserved for us by the early Sufi scholar Abu Nasr al-Siraj al-Tusi in his book of glimmerings on Sufism, the Kitab al-Luma' fi at-Tasawwuf. Notice the title that Siraj gave to this section: "The Commentary on Ecstatic Expressions and Words that are Externally Found Repulsive, though they are internally correct and well-founded." While it is true that Siraj had to debate with the theologian Ibn Salim, who objected to Bayazid's sayings, Siraj argued that his opponents had understood the words of Bayazid in an overly literal manner, but these ecstatic expressions require that one know the inner knowledge and experience that gave depth and substance to otherwise strange expressions. Indeed, Siraj refers to Junayd's commentary as a tafsir, a word normally used for commentaries on the Quran. Other interpreters like Abu Hamid al-Ghazali basically accepted the validity of the insights expressed in ecstatic sayings, although al-Ghazali was seriously concerned about the possibility of misinterpretation by the less informed listener. Ghazali distinguished two kinds of shath. The first kind consists of what he called broad, extravagant claims made in passionate love of God Most High, in the union that's independent of outward actions, so that some go to the extent of claiming unification, ittihad, rending of the veil, kashf, contemplating a vision of God, ru'ya, and oral conversation with God. Then they say, we were told such and such, and we said such and such. In this they resemble al-Hussein ibn Mansur al-Hallaj, who was crucified for uttering words of this kind, and they quote his saying, I am the truth. Ana al-Haq. Al-Ghazali goes on to say that this kind of talk is very dangerous to the common people because they lose their chance for salvation if they think that a purified soul that has attained spiritual states can dispense with religious duties. The consequences of such an antinomian interpretation are so severe that Ghazali concludes that the killing of him who utters something of this kind is better in the religion of God than the resurrection of 10 others. The second kind of shat that he describes is that which is unintelligible to the listener, regardless of whether it's merely confused babbling or something which the speaker comprehends but cannot articulate properly. Since this is bound to be interpreted arbitrarily, it is not permissible to express such things publicly. In this exposition, Ghazali's main concern is to prevent ordinary people from being misled by difficult or strange sayings, even though he implicitly regards the genuine kind of shathiyat as valid for those who can understand. In the most mystical sayings, however, he sees a real danger of antinomianism. Other Sufi writers, such as Rusbahan al-Baqli, have given much more extensive positive interpretations of shathiyat, as we can see from his important commentary on ecstatic sayings, which is available in Arabic and Persian. And it's well to remember Fariduddin Attar, among others, who has given a spirited defense of the sayings of Bayazid. Now, it is true that there are numerous passages in the discourses of Shams-i Tabrizi where he criticizes Bayazid's saying, "Glory be to me, Subhani," for various reasons. As indicated in the first example mentioned, one reason was that Bayazid appeared to be claiming a station beyond that of the Prophet Muhammad, which would be a form of blasphemy. Even if this is a form of intoxication, Shams remarks, it is incompatible with the true following of the Prophet. But this is not the only reason Shams gives for criticizing Bayazid. Şems on other occasions observed that Bayazid did not have the capacity to keep secrets. This is the well-known criticism of having a shallow cup, tang zarfi, which certain Sufis use to indicate the limited spiritual capacity of their predecessors or contemporary rivals. Thus, Şems remarks as follows: "These saints and perfect ones to whom the world pays respect also have a veil, and that is sometimes they relate their secrets with God in order not to be destroyed. At other times they do not have this veil. I tell secrets, but I do not make a speech. It's a wonder of these saints when speech appears." Bayazid does not belong to this tribe of saints. They are the prophets and messengers. Perhaps if they became intoxicated from this speech, they would be unable to drink. Not even 100,000 barrels of wine can do what the speech of the Lord of the worlds can do. So revealing the secret, ifsha asir, is a charge that could be laid against Bayazid precisely because it was unlike the behavior of the prophet. Şems does not stop here, however. On a number of occasions, he goes out of his way to say negative things about the spiritual status of Bayazid. Şems even uses the story of Bayazid's prediction of the future appearance of the great Sufi Abul Hasan al-Kharaqani to point out his imperfections. Finally, he says, they do not hold Bayazid to be one of the perfect saints. One sincere dervish went to his tomb, Bayazid's tomb, placed his finger on his mouth in astonishment, and said, "Ah, between this dervish and God, a veil has remained." This Bayazid passed by the village of Kharaqan, and he said, "After 150 years, a man will come out of this village who will be 5 degrees beyond me," and so it was. At the very time, Abul Hasan al-Kharaqani became a disciple and put on a dervish cloak by his tomb. The point is not only that a sensitive visitor to Bayazid's tomb could still detect the presence of his spiritual veil, but also that Bayazid would be surpassed by Kharaqani.